Hello.
Oh! Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sid, and in today's video I am in my guinea pig enclosure that has this massive plant in it that nobody seems to know the true identity of, but I'll work that out in a separate video. In today's video I am going to be doing something inside of the plant. Right at the back of this plant there is a ditch in the ground with plastic sheeting surrounded by rocks, so I think at some point in time it was being used as a pond of some sort, but it hasn't been a pond or even filled up with any sort of water in the last 2 years that I've lived here. The only things that it fills up with is dead leaves and lots of debris and stuff. I have seen the guinea pigs go in and out of the ditch before, but they definitely don't spend any sort of amount of time in there, and I just feel like it is a big waste of space. So I am going to fill that ditch up so that the guinea pigs can utilize that space better. While my guinea pigs don't use that space, it looks like something else has shown up to use that space. There is a mouse hole dug into the side of the ditch, and I have had to deal with lots of little critters showing up. When I started growing things for my guinea pigs to eat, heaps of birds showed up and ate all of the seeds. And because my guinea pigs poop so much, a whole bunch of dung beetles showed up and got all throughout my guinea pigs' water bowls and all throughout my garage as they were trying to search for where the guinea pig poop was. And those were honestly manageable and not an issue at all. But the mice, they're a little more of an issue because they can not only eat up all of my guinea pigs' food, but they can also eat up all of my food. Like if they get inside my house, then that may be an issue. And any sort of ways to try and get rid of them may also affect my guinea pigs because my guinea pigs are also rodents. I haven't looked into it too much, but I know mice don't like peppermint oil, but if I try and get rid of the mice with peppermint oil, will it also upset my guinea pigs? I don't know. But hopefully after I disturb the one living in the burrow over there, that it just moves on. But anyways, my first course of action is going to be to pin back some of these massive leaves so that I can get in there easier to exhume this ditch. So I'm going to use this rope to tie back as much foliage as I can. I know I probably could just cut the leaves, but I don't really want to do that.
A few moments later.
I wonder if I'm spooking the mouse in his little burrow down there. I'm sorry, plant. I think the first thing I'm going to do is remove all of the stones bordering this ditch, and then I will start working on removing all of the stuff inside of the ditch. I'm going to leave the roots and everything and the big stems. I think that should be fine if I just cover them up with dirt inside of the ditch, but yeah, I'm going to remove the plastic lining, the stones, and anything else that I can remove without actually hurting the plant any more than I already have. That one was very heavy. These ones are a little smaller, so they should be a little easier to lift. I'm going to reuse these stones for something else, so I'm just going to move them to a different part in my backyard. Wow, it's heavy. Oh, this one's heavy. Okay, so now that I've removed the rocks from this section of the ditch, I can now get a closer look at the plastic sheeting, and it appears as though there's a couple of layers of it. There's even like a root growing through each sheet of it, and I think there actually could be a third layer of it beneath everything else, and I think it's being used as a weed mat, which checks out because I've never seen any weeds grow in here before. So I think there's a weed stopper beneath everything, and there's like bits of other plastic sheeting popping up in other areas, so it definitely checks out. But I think in order to be able to remove all of this, I'm going to have to actually cut some branches off, which I really did not want to do. I think there's this big winding branch that goes through there, which doesn't appear to have any foliage growing off of it, so I think it should be fairly safe to remove that, but I won't touch any of these other branches that are clearly growing things off it. But yeah, I think this one may may be dead, so I think it could be safe for me to remove that. And when I do that, I should be able to get easier access to, there's still a whole bunch more rocks on that side of the ditch, and yeah, some in there which I think I'm just going to leave, but there's some back there, and it should make it a lot easier to remove this plastic sheeting as well. Okay, so it's now a couple of weeks later, and it is now winter, hence why I am wearing a beanie and I've got a couple of layers on. But now I'm going to get back into clearing out this ditch. So I'm going to start off by removing a lot of these dead leaves, just to get a little bit better visibility, and then yeah, I'm going to crack into getting all of these, I guess, roots out of the way as best I can without damaging the plant too much. I found a little frog ornament in the pond here. I think it must have been sitting alongside this pond when there was actually water here at some point. I'm gonna look back further to see what is back there past that line of rocks. Okay, so this is what is at the very back under all of those leaves. So those are the rocks that I want to try and remove, but those ones tangled up in the roots there are going to be quite difficult. So do I just accept that I'm not going to be able to remove all of this plastic sheeting? I just feel like for a lot of this, it is not going to be possible to remove. I think I would have to remove this entire plant to be able to get the sheeting out. And I mean, it was already under the ground anyways, so I'm sure just burying it some more isn't gonna hurt that much. See this stuff? It looks like there is layers and layers of it, so yeah, this is going to be very difficult to remove. Okay, so now I'm just going to try and remove these big branches in here to make some room. They do have some new growth coming off of them, so I'm fairly certain they're not totally dead, but unfortunately some sacrifices are just going to need to be made. This is May, my cat, and she's off. I was gonna say she was gonna protect me from any mice that might jump out at me, but yeah, I don't think she's gonna do any help now. Hello? Hello, Nebula? Oh gosh. I've got the shovel. I'm sorry, but these roots are just gonna have to be cut. So bye. I thought the shovel was gonna work. It didn't. Oh my god. I'm just gonna have to cut each root one by one. I think I'm getting somewhere. So it looks like I found more to this mouse nest. I'm just going to give you a close-up look with my phone. So right there, under the first layer of sheeting, is where I thought the hole started. But after pulling back some of this mat, there's like more hole there. So like, I feel like there's a whole colony of mice living in this knotted mass. And I really hope that isn't the case. Oh. Also, if I didn't make it clear, by fill in this ditch, I meant fill in with dirt, not fill in with water. I do not think my guinea pigs would like having an actual pond here. I don't think they would swim in it voluntarily. I definitely just think that they would prefer to have a space that they could stand on comfortably. So now I'm just trying to disconnect the edges of the plastic from everything else. So yeah, I've got my cutter and I'm just trying to get in there so I can pull it out. Got a curious fella checking up on what I'm doing. Let's nibble again. There he goes. I can't believe I got that out. But now there is a second layer of sheeting. So this is what it looks like after that top layer of sheeting and all that debris was removed. You can see the outline of the pond much better. So now I'm just going to remove the lower level of this plastic sheet. And I think this layer is going to be a lot easier than the first one. So I think I successfully removed that plastic, and I was not expecting to be able to do that. But anyways, now it is time to fill this in. So this is what it looks like now that all of the plastic sheeting from within there has been removed. I am still going to leave all of the plastic stuff around the rim because, like, that especially I'm never going to be able to remove unless I remove the whole plant, and I'm fairly certain it is a weed mat that stretches throughout the entirety of this fernery, which is now a guinea pig enclosure, and there's just no way that I am going to be able to remove it all, so it's just going to stay. But at least at a very, very later date it could be removed potentially, but if I was going to bury all of the plastic sheeting underneath there, then it's unlikely that that would ever come out of the ground. So yeah, I just wanted it to definitely remove that. And also, this is a closer look up at the mouse holes that I came across while doing this. This is the one that I first saw, and then there's also one on this side here. So yeah, I'm just glad no mice came out while I was trying to do all this. Also, I don't know if I said, but this whole plant is growing from a pot, or at least that's what it was originally growing from. As you can see, amongst all of these aerial roots is a pot. And also it looks like there's plastic, I don't know how well you can see that, but it looks like there is a plastic part as well. Yeah, there's plastic there. So I think this plant was inside of a pot and then inside of this ceramic pot, and now it has very much outgrown both of those pots. So filling in this pond with dirt will make it much easier to get access to that area and to the pots if I ever do decide to break it out of that pot. But I think I'm just gonna leave it since it obviously is thriving. So I've got a big pile of bark chips in my backyard, so I'm just going to fill the ditch up with a couple of loads of those and go from there. I would fill it up with just dirt, but I don't have enough dirt. I think I'm gonna need more than a couple loads of those bark chips because that really didn't fill it up much at all. So now I am just going to cover all of this with some potting mix. Okay, so this is how it looks now, filled up with bark, chips, and some potting mix. But I'm not done now. I am going to now grow something there. So I'm going to grow some barley grass here. So the way that I usually grow this is I just dump a whole bunch of seeds down and then I cover those seeds up with some dirt. So that's what I'm going to do in this case. So all of these seeds have been put down and now it's time to put the dirt over everything. It's getting dark and I need to be quicker with this, so I'm just going to dump the rest of the potting mix out on the remaining part of the seeds that need to be covered. Okay, so that is what it looks like with all of the seeds covered now. Now I need to put a barrier around this to stop the guinea pigs getting in that area while the grass is trying to grow, and also to try and hopefully stop birds and mice coming in this area, but I don't know how successful that's going to be. So I'm going to attempt to surround this all with some chicken wire. So I'm going to surround the inner side of the chicken wire with some of this like garden bed guard, just for that little bit of extra security. Also, I know by stepping on the seeds like this, I'm totally taking away any aeration in the soil, but I've got no other option. So I'm just going to use some of these like tent pegs to secure down the wire. Okay, so I'm going to add some shade cloth on top and then that will be it. Surely all of that will be enough to deter some birds. You'll see those sparrows right there. I can already see there are some seeds that have been removed from the ground. And there's a little bit of disruption over here, and there even looks like there is some bird poop down here. So I'm fairly certain that they've disrupted the seeds a little bit, but I'm hoping the damage isn't too much. So this is the damage. It doesn't look too extensive. I think because the seeds have already started to like sprout just a little bit and then put out some roots. I think the birds don't like those kinds of seeds as much. I think they would just prefer if it was just a full seed that hadn't already started to go to sprout. But I think a mouse may have gotten in here as well, because that looks like a little tunnel, which I feel like a bird wouldn't do. But yeah, I'm just going to cover up the places that have been disrupted with some dirt. I know that birds, it's very windy. I know the birds and mice can obviously dig, but I'm hoping that will just deter them a little bit longer so that the seeds can continue to grow that little bit more, so that the pests, well, I wouldn't consider them pests, but just so the other little animals won't be interested in eating them. Hi everyone, so it is now a week and a half later, and the grass isn't ready to be fed to the guinea pigs yet. Normally it would be, but because of this cold weather, it isn't growing as quickly as I would like it to, so yeah. But the reason why I have an update now is because I kind of just want to show you all the progress, and as the grass has risen, it's kind of lifted up the layer of dirt on top of all of the seeds, and I think the mice might be living in between that layer of grass and dirt. And I'm also going to brush away that layer of dirt sitting on top of the grass, because that could also be a reason why it isn't growing as quickly. So this is what it looks like, and as you can see, there's definitely some distinct trails in here, which I'm certain have been created by mice. And like looks like an entry point that mice have used to go through, and right there as well. So now I'm just going to pull out some of this stuff so I can get in there easier. I'm just going to gently remove all of the dirt on top of the grass. So it's just like a layer of dirt on top of the grass. I keep feeling like a mouse is going to jump out. Surely it hasn't been enough time for a mouse to create a nest in here. Oh, there's a mouse under there. Oh. Okay, so I think I'm just going to leave it at that for now, and hopefully the sun will help encourage this grass to grow. That was our first mouse sighting so far. I've seen lots of indications that there are mice around, but that was the first actual mouse that I've seen. So anyways, we'll see what happens. So this is how the grass looks now. It is a lot greener than how it looked when it was trapped under that layer of dirt, and it has grown a bit as well. So now I think it is ready to remove the chicken wire surrounding it and feed it to the guinea pigs. So anyways, there you have it. The grass field is open for business to the guinea pigs now, and it looks like so far they enjoy it. But something else that is also open for business is my new Patreon. Ever since I started sharing my story online about my guinea pigs, people have always been asking for me to start some sort of wish list or fund that people can donate to, but I never really wanted to do that because I never wanted it to be a one-way street. I always wanted it to be able to give something back. So I thought Patreon was the perfect option. Through Patreon, you are able to support my guinea pigs, and in return, you get a whole bunch of extra content back. And in one of the perks, you can even name one of my guinea pigs. Some of them that you probably just saw will be eligible to be named. I'm also doing a podcast on Patreon where I am getting into all of the guinea pig lore, because believe me, there is a lot of twists and turns in this whole guinea pig saga that the internet doesn't even know yet. And there will also be some Patreon exclusive YouTube videos on there as well. So if you want to join this herd, the link to my Patreon is in the description box below. Anyways, that is everything for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.